You guys were shocked about the liberal gun laws of Paraguay. If you're moving to Paraguay, can you still keep your rights to bear arms? In this video, we're going to clear up all the concerns about the Paraguayan gun laws. In my last video, I was talking about the Wild West of Paraguay, and you guys left lots of questions in the comments. I talked to lots of immigration helpers and gun owners in Paraguay, and in this video we're going to clear up all the concerns. And the big question, can Paraguay compete with the liberal gun laws of the United States? So I'm Paul, I'm a 40-year-old nomad, and I have had Paraguayan residency since 2021. In my old life, I've always felt like the system is not really supporting me, and I always felt like I was meant to do more. So at some point, I said goodbye to the regular lifestyle and started traveling. I've lived on 4 continents and visited 60 countries. So for the last 4 years, I've traveled Latin America with my dear Alexandra all over and our 26-year-old Toyota Prado. If you're in search for your own plan B, on this channel you'll find lots of videos about residencies in Paraguay, Mexico, Brazil, and many more topics. In plenty of my videos you can see how life in Latin America looks like. If you have any more questions, feel free to comment in the comment section below or book a one-on-one coaching with me. Alright, so truth be told, after my last video I had a bit of a backlash of viewers from the more liberal gun owner states in the United States. I was not aware that you can actually buy a gun without registering it to your own name. And in some states you can carry a gun concealed without a permit. Constitutional carry states sound like the way to go. The United States is truly the one place in the whole world that has the most liberal gun laws of all. And it's really hard to compete with them. I hope it will stay like that for a very long time. Thanks for the invites, by the way. I'm very happy to go back to the United States. But first, let's see what the elections this fall are gonna be like. If the right kind of person wins, I will do my big US comeback in 2025. By that time, I will also have worked on my gun range etiquette. Thank you guys for disciplining me there. I really needed it. So let's establish this as a fact. Clearly, there's no countries in the whole world that have liberal gun laws like in some of the US states. Now, personally, I like to prepare myself for all the eventualities. So on this channel, I talk a lot about life in Paraguay and how easy it is to get the residency permit. But what does that now mean for your freedoms of bearing your own arms? Let's now explore together if it is actually possible to get a satisfying outcome with bearing arms in Paraguay. I talked to immigration helpers, gun agents, and people who own guns in Paraguay. And here are the things that I found. Paraguay is about the size of California, but only has the population of New York City. In the north of Paraguay, you will find lots of cattle rangers, lots of flat plains. And then towards the south, you will have a little bit more tropical climate, but still it all feels like you're in the old Wild West. And because there's these huge lands and lots of farmers and lots of people owning their own land, a lot of people carry guns and own guns at their homes. Now, because of that, when you get your Paraguay residency permit, you are also allowed to get yourself a gun for home use or apply for a carry permit. Now let's see if those rules are good enough for you for a possible life in Paraguay. And also, the most requested topic, is it possible to import your own guns into Paraguay? Now the simple answer here is no, but yes. But let's discuss the details about that by the end of this video. For now, let's deep dive into the basics of gun ownership in Paraguay. Now first off, what guns are you allowed to own? Now typically people will get a couple of guns first. Pistols and revolvers are very popular here. Then you can get yourself a shotgun and also some small caliber rifles. And don't forget your hunting rifle. In order to get your shotgun or rifle, you actually have to either live on the countryside or be part of a shooting club. That is possible with a membership. Now, what type of rifles are you allowed to own? One of the biggest questions of many was if they can bring their own AR-15 to Paraguay. And the answer is yes, as long as it's not an automatic. Semi-automatics are fine, but only with smaller calibers, 223. The problem is that Paraguay does not accept NATO calibers like 5.56 and 7.62. These calibers are reserved for law enforcement only. The reason for all of this is that you are not allowed to have a gun or some ammo that is strong enough to penetrate a typical body armor. I got a lot of questions about how to actually buy the guns. Some people said that the laws have changed and it's a lot harder now to buy the guns. It is true, there are always law changes, but this time around it wasn't actually too tough. And like I said in my last video, you can still go into a gun store and buy the gun there. The whole process will be done within the gun store. You choose your weapon and then you will have to give your ID, the cédula, and within 1 or 2 weeks you will have your gun at home. There are certain steps that you are processing through, and if you want to know the exact details of what need to be done, you can book a one-on-one coaching with me or just comment in the comment form of my website and I'll send you the list. Overall though, it is to note that it's still possible to get your gun through that process, and if you need some help with it, just let me know. Now, what about the prices of the guns? Just like I said in my last video, a gun in Paraguay will be about 3 to 4 times as expensive as the same gun in the United States. Additionally to that, ammo is not cheap. One way around that is to buy your ammo at the gun ranges. There they refill the old ones. Now, how about hunting in Paraguay? So up until recently, hunting in Paraguay was very restricted. But with the new gun laws, it's actually easier now to go on your hunt. Overall in Paraguay, hunting was mostly tolerated on private property. Nobody said anything if you have your own huge property and you go hunting there. But overall right now, you can hunt for wild boars, wild buffaloes, and there is a pigeon hunting season. The one thing you cannot hunt in Paraguay is feline wild cats. Many of them are very much protected, and there's huge fines if they find out about it. All right then, so how do you get a concealed carry permit? Now you got your ideal gun, maybe it's a Glock 19, and you want to carry it concealed. Well, this is totally possible. There is a lot of these arms agents, and if you want, I can recommend you one that is doing serious business. These arms agents will do the whole process for you. It will cost you about $400 to $500 US, and within a few weeks, you will have a concealed carry permit. This permit is usually valid for up to 3 years. Now let's talk about the gun import. Now the reality of things is that gun import for business reason was completely abolished. So now the only way you can bring a gun to Paraguay is because you just moved to Paraguay. This process is very tedious and it's very time consuming and it will cost you a lot of money. I have to say it like that because it's truly not something that is conveniently done easily. Now what I mean with that is, here are the steps. In order to take your gun from the United States or Canada or from other places around the world, you will have to get yourself an export document that verifies that you are allowed to export the gun from your country. Now it doesn't matter if your state in the United States does not have a gun registry. In order for you to bring the gun out of the United States, you need to get an official export document. Otherwise, you're not allowed to board the plane to Paraguay or ship the gun to Paraguay. Now, the next thing you need to do is get a permission by the Paraguayan embassy that you are now allowed to import that gun to Paraguay. So with your export slip, you have to go to the embassy and ask them to import that gun. If they have determined that your gun is allowed to be in Paraguay, you will get that import slip. Now you can actually fly to Paraguay with your gun or have it shipped to Paraguay. Once you declare the gun in Paraguay, it will be confiscated from you. They will take the gun into their own possessions. What will happen is they will take the gun apart, test it, shoot it, and make sure that it complies with all the rules and regulations of gun ownership in Paraguay. They want to make sure that your gun can actually not penetrate one of those armored vests that the law enforcement is using. Now, once it went through all those processes, now you're allowed to take the gun officially into Paraguay, and you will have to pay. You will have to pay import taxes and the fees of the processing and the fees of the testing, and unfortunately, it's going to cost you. You will have to add at least 2 or 3 times the value of your gun to what you will have to pay the officials in order to get the gun into Paraguay. So you can see this is truly not an easy and cheap process. Why would you want to go through it? Well, the people that we know that have done this process, mostly they decided to live in Paraguay for good and never go back to their home country, or they had some kind of collector's guns that they just couldn't do without. Now you see, this process is not easy and probably not very advisable. For many, it might be better to just sell their gun collection in wherever they live right now and then come to Paraguay and buy the guns there. But again, the prices in Paraguay are also not cheap, probably because of those import bans. So you will always have to deal with 3 to 4 times the price. You just need to figure out if you want to deal with the hassle as well. Now, if you truly want to import your gun, I can connect you with an immigration helper that has experience importing guns as well, and you guys can talk that through with him. Now, let's assume you're already in Paraguay, you have your residency documents, and you have already lived there for a few weeks or months. You will realize that the laws in Paraguay are not necessarily taken by point value all the time. Now, that being said, I don't want to talk you into breaking any laws. I'm not a lawyer and I can't help you and tell you what to do. But in a lot of Latin countries, there is a kind of flexibility when it comes towards rules and regulations. Now, during my time here in Paraguay, I've met many people that had guns that weren't quite accepted and registered just the way they were supposed to. Now, that being said, you have to have your own judgment when it comes to things like that. So I guess what I'm trying to say is I personally enjoy Paraguay that it has official gun laws that are extremely relaxed for Latin America. And that combined with people that are pretty conservative in value but open and friendly to foreigners, together with immigration policies that are very friendly, and the option that you can live there at your own terms makes it quite a wonderful place to be. Now, will it ever be able to compete with some of those liberal states in the United States? Probably not. If you love your country and you want to stay in a truly liberated gun state, then you should probably stay there. What Paraguay offers you is probably the best option for a plan B if you ever want to move out of your own country and not lose your right to bear arms. So even if Paraguay will never be comparable with some of the most liberal US states, you'd still find yourself in a country that accepts you as a foreigner, that lets you live here under your own terms. You can have the peace and quiet you need. You can have your own land, your rifle, your pickup truck, your horses, your cows, your cats and dogs. It's up to you. That combined with a very traditional system of the traditional Paraguayan core family makes it very interesting for many people who are looking for an alternative to their own home countries. And now, that being said, even if life in Paraguay is not on your dream list, at least the very favorable immigration policies offer a great plan B. Let's say, for example, if the wrong person is gonna win in the election this fall. So that all being said, you can see I'm pretty flexible when it comes to topics for my videos. In the last video, you guys saw something that was so immensely interesting for so many of you that it became the fastest growing video of all my videos on my channel, with so many different comments. And what I want to do is I want to pivot to those comments and make sure that you guys find out what you are looking for. So with all the comments in my last video, and now in the process of having this video made because of it, let's make this a habit. You guys just ask me questions in the comments down below and I'll try to answer them in the coming video. Now, for my personal preference, the next video I would make would be about the life in Paraguay, also in the big cities, and what a Paraguay residency can bring you benefits in terms of Mercosur. You know, there's Brazil, Argentina, and Uruguay, and you can actually travel with your cedula to those countries. So if that's something for you, stay tuned for the next video. And until then, go ahead and click this video here to learn more about the Paraguay residency process right now.